All right, welcome back. We're here with yet another video with the Tiguan. I'm hoping that you guys will like this car with what we have planned for it. Today it's going to be focused around the OBD11 and the different things that we have already done to this car to help, enhance it a little bit, customize it a little bit more, make it our own. And it's going to be just my top 5 of what we've done to this car. And you could very well do this to your own Tiguan or other Volkswagen product. A lot of this transfers through with other Volkswagen products. So I already have the OBD11 plugged in and the hood is open, which is one of the prerequisites in order to be able to do this. And now let's actually start discussing what we've done to this car so far. So let me backtrack a bit. With the OBD11, you have the option of doing either long coding or one-click apps. The apps are very handy if you're not super technical or anything like that, but realistically, a lot of the stuff that you want to do, you can do the long coding way and it saves you a decent amount of money. Now, given in order to do long coding with the OBD11, you do have to actually buy the pro membership. To some, that might be kind of a deal breaker. It is $60 per year in order to do the pro membership. I'm going to end up discussing in a different video here soon my thoughts and takes on the OBD11, VAG scanner, etc. But for now, we're going to focus on mainly the one-click apps, and then one that you might actually really want to do to your own vehicle if you're anything like me and you want to be able to change stuff while you're driving. Number 1 on this car for me is definitely activating the actual IQ headlights on this car. So this car comes with the IQ headlights from factory, and here in America, they don't work the way that they intend. So what I mean by that is you have automatic headlights and you have the design of the IQ headlights, but in Europe, the headlights do this sweeping effect when they turn on, and the high beams will dip down whenever there's an oncoming car. That way it's not blinding the oncoming traffic. So in America, you can activate that, but you do need to be able to code it to the vehicle. So what I'm going to show you real quick, I have my phone right here. We're going to open up the OBD11 app and connect to it. Now, given this does take a long time for iPhone, I've heard apparently on Android it can be quicker. I haven't tested that yet. I don't have the ability to test that right now. So currently we're going to go solely based off of the experience with the iPhone. So I'm going to keep this real time so you see exactly how long this does take. We're finally connected. See what I mean by it does kind of take a while? So what we're going to do now in order to activate these is for the one-click apps, you have a tab down at the bottom of your phone called apps. This is one of the easiest things that you can do. Now keep in mind, most of these do cost credits. So for a lot of these, you will have to spend money in order to get the credits. I'll put the pricing up here on the screen of what the pricing is for the credits so you kind of get an idea of what you're going to be looking at. Now, just scrolling through the list of one-click apps, specifically for the Tiguan, it does change for each vehicle that you do have and that you do connect to it. So you're not going to code something that doesn't actually work on the car unless you make a mistake like I did before, which is easy enough to revert it. But another thing, which is a gripe of the OBD11, make sure it's something you do want because it does cost money for you to actually remove the coding, not just to code it to the car. You're not purchasing that app. And it sounds insane to me, but I guess whatever works, works. So, as you can see, there is a ton of different options in here. So one of the first things that we did was the IQ headlights. So I'm going to go up to the search and just put HBA, which is the HBA with the IQ headlights. These are the Euro style headlights, but for the American variants. So when it loads up, you can see I have 20 credits left. I've already used a good chunk on this car specifically. I did this car prior to us getting the pro membership, and the app costs 100 credit. The current value is on because, like I said, we did already code this to the car. But if you wanted to change it, you can do change value. And when it pops up, you can do original, on, or off. So with these, marking it as on will give the ability of the Euro headlights. Now, one of the other things that I do really like that we did with this car was with the IQ headlights, you have the option of doing sequential turn signals. Now, it is only in the front because, once again, in America, we don't get the IQ taillights for some reason. They look nice. Here's a picture of them. And we are planning on actually installing those in this car, but they are a little on the pricier side. And when we do get them, I plan to do a whole video of explaining how you install them on a car and what coding is involved in order to get them to work with the car. But since we do have the IQ headlights, we do have the ability to put on the what's called dynamic turn signals. So if I look up dynamic, you can see dynamic turn signals with IQ lights. That is the key. If you don't have the IQ lights, which look like how it is at the top and how it's looked in the video so far, if you don't have those lights, this code will not work. But same thing as the last one. So this one also costs 100 credits. The 100 credits seems to be like the top of the line of price. Once again, I only have 20 credits, but they are already activated. And you can see the requirements for this, the exact model number that you need for the car. So say you got the car without the IQ headlights and you want to install those ones. You can install them, you can do the conversion for it, you can code them to the vehicle, and even then you could still get the sequentials to work. But you do need the IQ headlights. So if I wanted to activate them, I would do change value and it would be on deactivate, and I would just change it to activate and hit purchase credits. A couple seconds later, it would pop up with the sequential turn signals. Here's a video of that. Now with the sequential turn signals, a little side note is we did also do the mirrors as well, which is a nice little touch. Bought them off of AliExpress. I'll put a link in the description for the ones that we bought, but there's a high likely chance that they're just not there anymore. Now, number 3 for me is 100% unlocking the menus for while you're driving. I get that it's a safety concern, but being able to change, say, the ambient lighting color when it's late at night and you're driving around and you want to change the mood of the car. You can't do that in this car unless you are completely stationary. With the OBD11, there's a way to do that. Now, this one is with the long coding. Long coding, don't be too scared about it. It's not the end of the world. I will say now would be a good time to make a backup of your vehicle's ECU and data and all that, which you can do from the vehicle tab, and you scroll down and you have the option to do backup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to the square blue icon that kind of looks like an ECU, tap that and you'll see the control units. Now in here, this is where you can view different codes. For anything that's red, there might be a fault with the system. Some of these that you'll see here are kind of just like long-term codes that haven't gone away, but there is nothing physically wrong with the car at the moment that we're aware of. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna scroll down until we see the multimedia, which is 5F. When this loads, scroll down until you see security access, and then in here, go ahead and tap the security code, which is 20103. And you will have the radio turn on briefly once you go in here. So now we go into adaptions, and I'm gonna look for locked menu content. Now keep in mind, this one is a bit of a pain, because as you'll see, I'll do a quick scroll to show you that this list is very long, but anything that you see that says blocked, so I'll open up the first one here for tuner 0, and it's currently set to non-blocked. If that said blocked, I would just want to open it and move it to not blocked. Simple enough. But the list is extremely, extremely long. So once you have all of them done, you'll just swipe to right, and once that's done, restart the radio, and the next time you go to drive the car, all of your menus will work. You can drive the car and change the ambient lighting, change a setting on the car, turn off your traction control if you're pulling up to the light and you want to launch it. All right, so next up, we're gonna go back to the home screen. We're gonna move on to number 4 of one of my favorites. This one changes the style of what it looks like for your gauge cluster. So this one is, I believe, dependent on the Digital Gauge Cluster Pro, but I could be wrong and it could be available for the regular cluster. I'm not totally sure. But if you want to change the style, once again, go to the blue ECU button, scroll down until you see the dashboard number 17, and this time we'll do the security access code. I don't know if this one's required or not, but I believe it is 25327. Success, it worked. Next up, we'll go into adaptions and we're going to search for tube version. or tubes illustration is what's called, my bad. So in here you can see I already have mine set to 0, which is a different style. I'm going to switch it back to a different one. So I believe it's anything from 0 to 4 is a different variant of the gauge cluster or tubes. So all you have to do is select one, slide to right, and when it loads, it now changed the style of the gauge cluster for something different. Not necessarily my favorite by any means, but it does work. And now you can see I am actively trying to swipe away, and this is definitely an issue with the OBD11 VAG app. I will say, quick side note, they did say when I first got the app to switch to the other variant, the regular OBD11 one, but it never worked for me. So I'm just gonna close the app, reopen it, code it back to what I had it as, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so now that we're back, the last one that I want to showcase for my number 5 is the ability to actually open and close the windows and sunroof from the remote. From factory, you can roll them down, but you can't roll them up for some reason. I assume a safety concern, I suppose. But there is a one-click app for it, or a couple of them. So we're gonna go back to the apps and we're gonna look for, I believe it's Windows. Comfort Windows is what we'd be looking for. And this would allow you to open and close via the remote. So when it pulls up, you can see I already have it enabled. And this one is specifically for the side windows, not the sunroof. So in order to do the sunroof, once you have that one coded, you can go back and type in sunroof and find comfort operation for sunroof. And like I said, this just gives you the ability to open and close it from the remote. It's one of those little things that you might not realize that you really want until you realize that, oh, I left my windows down and I need to go close them, but I don't want to go outside. Let me just grab my remote and do it real quick since it's within range. Those are my top 5. So I do want to make a couple honorable mentions real quick. Ones that I really do like, but didn't quite make it because they weren't quite there. One of them is the interior light fade in and fade out. It is a one-click app, but you can also enable it through the long coding. I did find a method for that one. All that does is make it so the lights on, say, the steering wheel, your shifter, the USB lights, they have a slight gradual fade in when the lights turn on. You don't really notice it a whole lot since the car has automatic headlights, so you're not manually switching them on and off like you would on an older car, but it is one of those things that it is a nice touch. The last honorable mention that I have is we found a coding so it makes the start-stop button pulse. It's not a necessary thing, but it's a nifty little touch that I quite like. And that one I did have to do the long coding method. So that is everything that I have for you guys. That's everything that I have about this car at the moment. We are still exploring. We have only had the car for about 2 months. See the last video where I talked about a couple of the issues that we've already had with it. And I hope that you guys enjoy the video and that you guys stick around to see the progress of what we do with this car, the other Volkswagen that we have, the Audi, the Saab, all of them. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to stick around and see what we have coming up in the future. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.